The focus of class this week will be on math talks. We will explore what a math talk is and how to implement one. But I believe it's most important to begin with why we are learning about math talks in this particular course. Last week, we focused on the standards for mathematical practice. Usually when I talk with teachers and principals alike about the standards for mathematical practice, I receive a lot of questions about SMP 2 and SMP 3. These standards for mathematical practice ask students to reason abstractly and quantitatively, and also to construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others. Teachers are often intimidated by these standards, and principals often struggle to find ways to assist their teachers with these standards. I have found that one of the best ways we can work with students and teachers alike on these standards is by introducing them to math talks, which is why we're talking about them today. So, what is a math talk? It's a conversation in which students and teachers discuss strategies for solving a problem and various mathematical ideas. In these conversations, students and teachers are actively involved in the discussion by contributing ideas, posing questions, and listening to others. As a result, students will discover multiple pathways to see or solve a problem. In order for a math talk to be successful, there are some steps that teachers must take before beginning. The first is that teachers must set expectations for the math talk. Teachers can create these expectations with students or have them set up in advance. Either way, it's extremely important that these guidelines focus on respect and touch on the fact that mistakes are definitely going to happen during a math talk, and that these mistakes are not only okay, but they're what help us learn and grow as mathematicians. Once these guidelines have been put in place, and teachers feel as if the classroom environment is one in which mistakes are respected, the teacher will then begin teaching students sentence starters, such as the ones you see on the screen. I've seen many teachers begin with 2 sentence starters, such as I agree because and I disagree because. And as the students become more comfortable with math talks, the teachers then add more sentence starters to their anchor chart. I highly suggest having these in a pocket chart or on an anchor chart for students to reference throughout the math talk. Without these sentence starters, students often will shout out things like, "You're wrong," or "That's totally incorrect," or "What is that?" You really want to make sure your teachers have sentence starters to frame the conversation, and you want to make sure that the teachers are holding students accountable to using those sentence starters. I highly suggest reviewing them before every math talk. Now, it's time for the actual math talk itself. So what happens? Well, first the teacher is going to select a challenging problem for students to solve, and then ask the students to solve the problem. When the students are ready, the teacher will ask the students to share their answers, writing down all answers on the board without indicating if the answer shared is correct. I repeat, the teacher is not going to indicate if the answer is correct or not. There is a reason for that. The students are going to be discussing the problem. If they know if the answer is correct or not, we take away a big part of the conversation and discussion students have. So teachers must not share it, either on their face or verbally. Once all answers have been gathered, the teacher is then going to select one student response and ask either the student to share how they came to that answer, or ask their classmates to share how that answer could have been obtained. The teacher's role at this point is to facilitate the conversation, either by providing questions or prompting students. When students talk about how that answer could have been obtained, this is called defending the answer. The teacher should remain neutral during this time, still, and provide prompts as necessary. Once one answer has been thoroughly defended, the teacher will repeat the process with another answer. The hope is that all possible answers have been gone through and the students themselves figure out which was the correct answer and why it was correct, and why the other answers were incorrect. We're now going to take some time to look at some example math talks, to read a little bit more about this process, and just to see what this looks like in action.